Welcome to the NBA here on 2K Sports. Monday Hoops coming up. It's going to be the Indiana Pacers up against the New York Knicks. And now, time for the call by Kevin Harlan, Steve Kerr, and Clark Kellogg from New York City as they get ready for the opener.
And just a minute or two here for the players to get warmed up before the start of the game. Welcome, everyone, to the NBA on 2K Sports. With Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg, this is Kevin Harlan. Dort, and now a quick check of our starting lineups for both teams. First, for the Pacers, at the 1 and 2, George Hill and Lance Stevenson. And starting 7'2", one of the true giants in the game, another great big man out of Georgetown, Roy Hibbert. Then it's Paul George, and it's West in at the 4. And for New York, the guards, Ray Felton and J.R. Smith. And in the middle, the 2012 Defensive Player of the Year, 7'1", rebounder, shot blocker, and leader, Tyson Chandler. Then it's Anthony, and it's Stoudemire in at the 4. Hill kicks to Stevenson. On the wing, George. 5 to shoot. So the whistle blows on the shot, and 2 free throws for the contact right there.
Well, it's not often you find a player like Paul George who, as tall as he is, can play two guard. But when you do, you're going to see some really big numbers in rebounding from him. And that's what George does. He wants to average double-digit rebounds.
And Clark, you mentioned the height of Paul George. 6'8" when he was drafted. He actually grew to 6'10" in his rookie season, Steve. So he's a young guy that's continuing to grow both on the floor and physically.
Yeah, he may be 7'2" by his 4th year. I'll tell you, though, he gives you power forward size and rebounding with guard skills. It's easy to see why the Pacers are so excited about it.
Does he remind you of anybody in particular?
A bit like Scottie Pippen, you know, early in his career. Maybe not quite as strong as Scottie, but a similar skill set.
Interesting. Good.
Oh, the rapid-fire threes coming from everywhere.
I thought it might be a little imprudent to try to get those points right back, but it worked.
Hill against Felton. Feeds it to Carmelo. Back to Felton. Smith. And the 3 off target.
Indiana had perhaps the toughest defense in the league. They just didn't have any weaknesses defensively. If you attacked them inside, they were able to challenge you at the rim. You tried to shoot over them, they were challenging you with their length on the perimeter. And they didn't back down. So it's not a surprise they were near the top in every defensive category.
New York's gone 1 of 3 from beyond the arc so far in the game. Felton kicks to Smith. Back to Felton. Smith outside. Second chance shot. It's laid in by Stoudemire. Stoudemire's got his first points in this one.
So the defense just looked a little lazy on the glass there.
Yeah, nobody boxing out. That's inexcusable.
Outside Hill. Outside George. George gets a screen from Hibbert. And George kicks to Hill. Off target with his 3. And Clark, the numbers back up what you were saying about the Pacers. A lot of stat heads will look at opponents' effective field goal percentage as a measuring stick for defense. And the Pacers, Steve, were the best in the league at that.
Well, they pass the eye test, that's for sure, Kevin. I mean, they challenge every shot. They get out to the three-point line. They block shots at the rim. So there's a reason this team was so good at the defensive end.
The dish to Carmelo. Now Chandler inside, and he takes that one up and powers it through. This game's going to take a big swing. Clark, if the D continues to clear out like that and give up easy dunks.
Yeah, that's the kind of defense we expect to see in a blowout, Kevin, or even an exhibition game, not a close game like this.
Look how frustrated Steve is over here.
Well, I just, you know what, Kevin? Come on, Kevin. I just like that he didn't choose to just lay it up there. I mean, he threw it down with force.
And here's George for 3. That doesn't go either for George. For New York, they've gone 3 of 7 from the field since we've gotten underway. Outside, Felton. He passes to Smith. Back to Felton. New York moving the ball around. Smith. Stoudemire. And he banks in the layup.
Guys, he's actually indefatigable. He never gives in, never gives up on a play, and that's what it takes to be a great offensive rebounder. You've got to be relentless.
Hibbert with a screen on Felton. Hill drives in. Back to George. Misses off the left iron.
In this quarter, he's really been off the mark. He just looks a little bit unsettled.
Anthony kicks to Smith. Offensive rebound. There's the pass to Felton. Back to Smith. Chandler with a screen for Smith. And the dunk by Chandler.
Excellent work on the offensive boards.
Went after that rebound hard and quickly turned it into a putback jam. Beautiful work.
And those are the types of plays that have put them in front in this game.
A moment to check in with Doris Burke. Doris?
Well, I had a chance to talk with head coach Frank Vogel. I talked to him about plans he had coming into this game, and the one thing he told me was that he wanted to make sure it didn't come down to the wire, saying with guys like Melo and Amari, I don't want the ball in their hands with a chance to win it at the end. We need to get out ahead early and never let them back in it. We'll see if they're able to avoid a close finish, guys.
All right, Doris. Looking at who's out there now for the Pacers. Mahinmi's checked in for Hibbert. Scola comes in for David West. And it's Turner in for Paul George. And Watson with the basket on the assist by Turner.
I'll tell you what, the defenders didn't even get a sniff of him on that move to the hoop.
The Knicks leading by 4. Here's Prigioni. Pass to Stoudemire. Fades. There's 42 seconds left in the first quarter. Watson. Stoudemire grabs the board.
And no excuses there. Got a really good look at the basket after being freed up by the pick.
We say it all the time. The execution was excellent. The result not as good, but good ball movement anyway.
Prigioni dishes to Shumpert. Solid shot from the distance of about 14 feet. Shumpert's got his first points of the night.
Doing a great job here, able to create some second chance points with their extra effort and hustle.
Watson kicks to Stevenson. Stevenson off the pick from Watson. Stevenson passes to Watson. Stevenson dishes to Watson. It's good from long range. Watson's got 5 now. Here's Prigioni. Shot is off. At the end of one, a closely contested game. And the second quarter getting underway. No team gaining an edge so far.
You know, after losing Jeremy Lin going into last season, guys, I think some fans were concerned that the team might slip back to isolation basketball and their offense would stagnate, but instead they flourished as a three-point shooting team.
Here's Scola, and the shot is good, dropping in off the front of the rim. Scola's got the first basket of the second quarter for the Pacers. Here's Prigioni, back to Anthony. He dishes it to Stoudemire. Smooth as silk on the finger roll. Stoudemire's got 6. And back to the Knicks personnel moves, you got to give them a lot of credit going out and finding shooters and defenders and Steve playmakers to surround their star players with.
Yeah, they ended up with Bargnani, putting him at the kind of the shooting 4 spot, adding another three-point threat. The Knicks are always going to be aggressive personnel-wise. This was already a good team, second best record in the East, but you know they're looking to get better.
And Prigioni kicks to Hardaway. Nailed from three-point land. Now it's a 6-point Knicks lead.
D there, guys, was pretty much non-existent. I mean, you can't leave a good shooter like that open.
Here is Watson, defended by Prigioni. Taken away by Anthony. Outside Hardaway. Prigioni. The feed to Shumpert. Dishes it to Prigioni. Hardaway. And again, New York with the triple.
Right now, they got that field goal percentage up in the low 50s.
Yeah, they're really starting to put it together offensively, looking to build on this lead.
Watson, the pass to Turner. Scola, covered by Anthony. Scola against Anthony. Tries to save it, and that's out of bounds. Indiana will retain possession.
Yeah, so close to picking that pass off, guys.
At least he got a hand on it. He did what he needed to do to make sure it didn't hit the target.
Some changes for Indiana. Roy Hibbert's checked in for Mahinmi. West comes in for Luis Scola. And it's George in for Lance Stevenson. 6 on the shot clock. And it's Turner off the drive. Will it go? No good. And New York the other way now. Hibbert kicks to George. Hill. 1:45 and just under 2.5 minutes gone by. He feeds it to Turner. Tries yet again. And goaltending is going to be the call. So they get the basket there anyway.
He thought he had that one clean, but the ref saw it differently. They'll count the basket.
And you hear the crowd kind of murmuring. I don't think they agreed with the officials on that one.
Steve, I tell you what, they're really letting him have it.
Anthony drives in. And a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here.
You know, guys, Carmelo Anthony last year played pretty much full time at the power forward position, and the results were excellent. I mean, he's got the strength to play inside, and when you look at what he does offensively, it creates a lot of matchup advantages for him and his team.
About 3 minutes played so far in the second quarter. West dishes to George. Hibbert trying to free himself up. The kick out to Hill. Pass to Turner. Feeds it to Hibbert. Oh, yes, the turnaround. Hibbert's got his first basket. Having a look at Carmelo, do you think, Steve, maybe the success that LeBron had going inside and playing the forward had any influence on Melo playing inside?
I think there's no doubt, Kevin. The league has gone smaller in a lot of ways. A lot of former 3 men are now becoming 4s. The only way to do that, though, is if you have the strength to deal with bigger players, and Melo certainly has that strength.
And a chance here to catch up with the 4th member of our crew, Doris Burke. Hi, Doris.
Yes, Kevin, for David West, he was signed by the Pacers back in 2011, and he's helped them advance from a team that had lost in the first round to a team that pushed the Miami Heat to 7 games in the conference finals. Now, re-signed by the Pacers, and teammate Roy Hibbert happy to have him back. Hibbert said, "Before David got here, we were soft. All we would do is shoot threes, and that was it. He came here, and he brought confidence. We played hard, we played together, and played as a team. Guys, David, a leader on and off the floor."
Well, Doris, confidence so key in this league. Thanks. And the Knicks decide to take their first time out here. And so it's New York with it. Their biggest lead of the game was 9. Smith kicks to Anthony. West is there. Smith for 3. That one falls, coming off Anthony's feet. And that's now 6 points for J.R. Smith.
You know, last season, guys, the Knicks put up a bushel basket full of threes, and with the shooters they had, you could see why they shot as many threes as they did. They had excellent shooters from behind the arc, and it also served Carmelo Anthony well because it opened the floor for him.
Timeout called the Pacers. Well, Clark, as you said about the Knicks last season, the offensive game plan was take some threes, take more threes, and then some more threes after that. Steve, I know you like that. They led the entire league in threes taken. In fact, they set the all-time record for threes made in a season.
Well, they were unbelievably proficient from long range. I mean, they had games where they'd take 40-plus threes, almost unheard of. But it's the way they played. And when you can surround Carmelo Anthony with shooters like that, it makes it tough to guard.
And it's out of bounds. The Knicks will take it the other way.
Difficult to explain that turnover. I mean, I guess he thought he had more room than he did, but he really lost his place on the court.
Felton with the ball. He hasn't scored yet. That, I'm sure, will change. Anthony, fended by West. Felton kicks to Shumpert. And the Knicks hit again from deep.
All these open threes they're giving up have really been the driving force of this run.
I agree, guys, and the points add up in a hurry when you start giving up easy looks from long range.
Hill kicks to Hibbert. Outside Turner. Passes to West. 6 to shoot. That's good.
The offense has a better flow, and it actually looks better here in the second quarter.
Yeah, they've steadied themselves a little bit, trying to close this gap.
Outside Felton. Smith outside. On the wing, Shumpert. New York moving it around. Chandler, the pass to Shumpert. A three-pointer off the mark.
Oh, that's got to be deflating and disappointing to miss a wide-open shot like that right in your wheelhouse.
And the basket by Hill.
And the field goal percentage now up over 50%, so the offense coming around.
Yeah, Steve, I think that's a good sign. I mean, they stumbled out of the gates, but looking to regain some ground right now.
Chandler with a screen for Anthony. Back to Felton. He kicks it to Smith. There's the dish to Chandler. Smith outside. From outside the arc. The Knicks rebound. Another shot. Chandler's shot. Good. Chandler's got his third basket of the night right there.
He got a great read of where that miss was going, and that allowed him to be the first guy to it and get the putback.
And the first half is
You know, Frank Vogel is one of the youngest head coaches in the NBA, and in college at Kentucky, he pestered the coaches relentlessly until they gave him a role as a student manager for the Wildcats, and that determination and resolve has served him well as he's worked himself into an outstanding head coach in the NBA.
outside Hill. Back to George. The kick out to Hill. George. Three-pointer. Rebound by Smith. And for Vogel, an assistant for 10 years in the NBA. And when a coaching turnover moved him into the interim head coaching position in 2011, Steve, he grabbed the reins and didn't look back.
No, he didn't. The results speak for themselves. And the team's responded to him. The organization has shown its faith in Coach Vogel, giving him an extension. And he led that club to a deep playoff run a year ago, one game from the finals.
And Stevenson kicks to George. Hill. The pass to Stevenson. It's back to Hill. He dishes it to Stevenson. George kicks to West. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him two chances at the free throw line here.
Well, you gotta love the season from David West last year, coming off the ACL tear back in 2011. I think he's completely back as far as that injury is concerned. He was so good last year, particularly in the playoffs.
And David West, Clark, the locker room leader for the Pacers last season, helped lead them all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, and a guy I know that you greatly admire.
Oh, my goodness. Love the way he does his work. I call him Real Deal 21. There's nothing fluffy about what he gets done, and he's so smart and so savvy in how he approaches the game, and really a lion in the locker room for the Pacers. That's why that team was so tough in many ways, particularly defensively. You've got to give them a lot of credit for the job they've done on the backboard.
Well, they've done a lot of things right, but I agree with you, Clark. Their rebounding is right there at the top of the list.
Felton kicks to Anthony. Makes the lead pass. And he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him.
Tyson Chandler, first-time All-Star last season. His 12th season in the league. This is a guy that came right out of high school. It was a long time coming for him, but certainly that All-Star berth well-deserved.
Indiana making some changes. Mahimi comes in for Roy Hibbert, and it's Luis Scola in for David West. And here's Stevenson. Still getting warmed up offensively. No buckets yet in the game for him. The open shot, Scola. Oh, trying for it. And that's out of bounds. Indiana will retain possession. Timeout called the Pacers. Here's Hill. Here's Stevenson. And with that one, the lead is trimmed to single digits. And for Tyson Chandler, it's been a long road over the last few seasons. Steve, he's playing undoubtedly the best basketball of his career.
Yeah, key contributor on Team USA, an NBA champion with the Mavericks in 2011, and now an NBA All-Star. It's the defense, it's the understanding of his teammates and the game plan. Just a very, very smart player and a hard worker as well.
Quite 2.5 minutes played here in the second half. Smith dishes to Felton. Always going up for the alley-oop here. And the jam by J.R. Smith.
Phenomenal alley-oop slam right there, guys.
They're taking advantage, Clark, of a team that looks lost out there.
Yeah, this is threatening to get kind of ugly out here. Well, if the Pacers wanted to grab the attention of the league with their postseason play, they certainly did that. They marched through the first two rounds by knocking off the Hawks and the Knicks. And, boy, remember, they were a game away from the NBA Finals.
The three from George. It's rebounded by New York.
And the offense continues to struggle. Just one make in their 5 attempts.
Felton the pass to Chandler.
Incredible.
And this sort of awesome dunk is one of the reasons this team is in charge of this game right now.
Clark, there is a swagger out here on the court that they possess and are not afraid to show it either.
That's right.
Those are phenomenal dunks to watch. So much fun.
What's interesting for me to watch with Mike Woodson as head coach in New York is the exciting floor spacing offense they started playing last season. In Atlanta, he'd been known for a grinded out isolation play style, but has actually tweaked his approach a little bit, and that's been impressive.
Smith kicks to Anthony. And it's sent back by George. Rejected by Felton. They retain possession. Outside Felton. Can't get it to go. Excellent D there from George. And back to Mike Woodson, not a flashier, high-maintenance type of personality. He keeps it on the level, and I think, Steve, the players appreciate that.
Players definitely like that. He's very quiet on the sidelines, but not afraid to get in your face when necessary. And I think that's a really good temperament for a coach to have. In general, I think he's a guy who is very well respected around the league and did an excellent job with New York a season ago.
Stoudemire slams it back in. And the Knicks lead by 15.
They are not rotating nearly quickly enough on defense down low. Got to get quicker there.
And even if it costs them some foul trouble, I mean, they need to start putting some bodies on bodies. Be physical.
The drive by Smith. And the layup falls. Smith's got 10 points.
Oh, I tell you what, nice little run here they're going on.
Now the story is points in the paint, Clark. I mean, they're getting point-blank shots every time down.
Stevenson covered by Smith. Hill kicks to George. Tries to keep it alive. Just 5 to shoot. J.R. Smith on the wing. And boy, that looked like goaltending. Yes, it is. And so they will award the basket there.
He got there late, but you do have to like the aggressiveness to go after the block. but that one's going to count.
David West, he's checked in for Indiana. Watson comes in for George Hill. Pacers trail by 19. Time called here. Indiana decides to talk it over.
One of the things the Knicks did so well last year was what they didn't do, turn the ball over. When they shifted to more spacing and spreading the floor offensively, they cut their turnovers down in a big way, and it was a huge part of their success.
George Hill's checked in for Lance Stevenson. There's 47 seconds left here in the third quarter. Now Watson, 5 points in the game. It's Scola with the drive. Indiana needs to get a shot off. Hardaway with the steal. It's 3-on-3 on the fast break. He passes it to Smith. Rehione. And that one goes long. Here is Watson, guarded by Hardaway. West a screen on Hardaway. Watson kicks to George. And it's out of bounds. The Knicks will take it the other way. Five seconds left in the third. With one on the clock, the shot is off. Well, through 3/4 of play, down double digits at Mick. And we welcome you back as we get going here in the fourth quarter. The final quarter of play can change everything. And a look now at how the offensive approach has been going here so far for the Knicks.
I'll tell you what, they've hit the boards hard in this one, and it's led to an abundance of second-chance points. I mean, they've gotten a lot of second-chance points.
The other thing they're doing, guys, is forcing turnovers and then creating points offensively as a result.
Back to West. Dishes it to Watson. Outside, George. The feed to Watson. Lets the three fly. Hits the bucket. Watson's got the first points up on the board here in the fourth for the Pacers.
That shot becomes effortless for him when the D is so relaxed. They got to get more intense.
And Prigioni kicks to Anthony. Here's Chandler. Great tee that time from Hibbert.
Well defended, and he's not someone who responds well to that kind of defensive pressure.
He feeds it to Watson. Back to George. Pass to West. Outside, George. Off the mark there with the three-point shot.
Almost surprised that he had that much room to work with.
Shumpert with it, now guarded by Watson. Now here is Hardaway. D right on him. And out of bounds as the Pacers gain possession. The Pacers making a switch here. Here is Hill. Fourth quarter now. We're about a minute and a half in. Pass to Stevenson. It's George on the wing. From outside, off the mark.
Such a solid performance for them inside. Their rebounding has been terrific.
Yeah, that's just one of the few things that have gone their way today.
Now here is Hill. Beyond the arc. And Paul George with the three. They got on this roll a while ago, and they just haven't looked back.
And he had one in the first as well. He can be dangerous. Keep an eye on him.
And Shumpert kicks to Felton. Smith left side. Back to Felton. Fires from deep. Second shot opportunity. Chandler's shot. Good.
He's been one of their more reliable options today, guys. I mean, his shooting has led them to this lead.
Hill kicks to George. And J.R. Smith picks up the foul. That is his first foul of the game.
Looked to me like the defender didn't get squared up and get his feet set.
Good work by the officials. A nice call. That play can be tough to judge sometimes.
Carmelo Anthony's checked in for New York. And George kicks it to West. Feeds to Stevenson. 5 on the clock. George shoots from the line. That is good. George has got 5 points in the quarter.
He's so reliable. You know, his offense seems to be consistently there for this team.
New York leading by 13. Felton dishes to Smith. And Smith gets double teamed. George. And we're going to have a jump ball. It's tied up there. And it's the Pacers with the ball. The Knicks have gone 1 of 3 from the field to start the fourth quarter. Pacers trail by 13. Passes it to Hill. George. It's back to Hill. Lets it go from deep. Here's West. And that one goes in as he is fouled. It'll be 3 points if he converts at the line.
How about that play? Great body control. Still manages to finish the play despite the contact.
You know, when that whistle blows, you're not done. Get greedy and find a way to knock it down.
Smith, the pass to Felton. We played just over 3.5 minutes now in the fourth quarter. Anthony drives in, and the officials call goaltending, so they'll award the basket.
He almost got to that shot in time, but not quite. You can't touch the ball once it's on the way down.
Timeout called the Pacers.
Well, I tell you what, the Pacers did a lot of good things last year. Defended well, protected the rim and their home court. Really, the one area for improvement is probably the road record. They could get better in that area.
Doris Burke has an update for us. Doris?
Kevin, I was able to hear the advice Frank Vogel gave to his team during that last break. He's not pleased with the careless turnovers offensively, saying, listen, we've got to get shots. It's as simple as that. We have to play smart and value the basketball. Kevin, did it sink in?
Just 5 on the clock. And here's Stevenson for 3. But they get it back. On the wing, Hill. Right side, George. Got a piece of it. West kicks to George. Smith with the block.
He has not been on his game, and you know their deficit isn't totally on him, but he has not helped the situation.
He muscles it in through the contact, and they call the foul. He's on his way to the free throw line. Well, Clark, as you said, the Pacers didn't play as well as they had hoped to on the road for a team that won the division. They were 19-21 away from Indianapolis, and Steve, not the kind of record they wanted to end with.
No, but if you're around 500 then you can control your home court, you're going to have a good season. And that's exactly what Indiana did. They ended up with the 3rd seed in the East, and all in all, a terrific year.
Felton dishes to Smith. Back to Felton. No good. And Indiana will go the other way with it. Hill passes to George. And so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact, and he'll shoot 2.
Well, you look at Paul George, my man, PG 24, a young swingman out of Fresno State. Boy, he had a terrific year last season, was the most improved player last season, and a first-time NBA All-Star. And consider how young he is, just turned 23. And he's got the potential to make plenty more All-Star games. And I think he could ultimately be a Defensive Player of the Year sometime in his career.
Hardaway kicks to Aldrich. Mahimi on him. The jump hook. Aldrich, no good.
Now, he was right there, but the defensive pressure forced that miss.
Well contested. That really made it a tough shot.
And George, here we go. Out to Turner. Indiana again, missing.
Looked like he rushed that one, guys. The defense was out of position. He was wide open, just couldn't take advantage.
Here's Brighian. So no problem for New York as they get the win. Some days, Clark, everything goes right for a team, and they just had one of those games.
Yeah, it certainly was. I mean, these guys played a great all-around basketball game here.
Well, that'll do it. For Doris Burke, Steve Curry, Clark Kellogg, this is Kevin Harlan saying so long. We'll see you next time. And as we leave, we give you our Jordan Player of the Game, Amari Stoudemire.